A strategic shift on a holiday stage. A defense that didn't just hold the line, it dominated. A win that may look routine on the scoreboard, but carries deep implications for the future of the franchise. While the offense stumbled, the other side of the ball turned a critical matchup into a showcase of discipline, execution, and tactical brilliance. And now, in the hearts of fans, a question emerges that no one expected to ask so soon: what path lies ahead? Some fans want to change, the removal of the GM. What do you think about that? Tell me in the comments and be sure to click the like button. So come with me and I'll tell you everything that's going on in Vikings. Let's go. It felt like a Christmas miracle, but one painted in purple and gold. Not the kind of miracle that falls from the sky, but one forged through grit, pressure, and a defensive mastermind who's quietly orchestrated one of the most unlikely NFL stories of the year. Vikings fans, what we witnessed on Christmas Day wasn't just a win, it was a statement. And it may go down as one of the most defining performances in recent team memory. Brian Flores, the man behind the headset on defense, didn't just call a good game, he completely dismantled a Detroit Lions offense that had been torching opponents all season long. 6 takeaways, 5 sacks, just 161 total yards allowed. A team that needed a win to keep its playoff dreams alive got humbled. At home. In front of the entire football world. On Christmas. But what makes this more than just another defensive clinic is the context. The Vikings, a team ravaged by inconsistencies and offensive instability all year, were starting a quarterback who threw for just 51 yards. Max Brown, bless his effort, isn't an NFL-caliber starter. Possibly not even a reliable backup at this stage. And yet, somehow, someway, Minnesota left the field with a 2-score victory. How? The answer is Flores. This defense, which many had written off as B- talent at best, played like an elite unit. A unit with a purpose. A mission. And the execution was surgical. From the very first snap, Jared Goff was under siege, mentally, physically, and strategically. The Lions' signal caller, who entered the game averaging over 30 points with his offense, looked completely lost. Seeing ghosts, rushing throws, getting passes batted at the line. And when he did try to challenge downfield, Byron Murphy was waiting, ready to snatch momentum and shift it forever. It's not just scheme. It's culture. It's identity. And that identity has been forged week after week by Flores. Think back, shutting down the Commanders, frustrating the Giants, containing the Cowboys, now taking apart the Lions. And perhaps most sweet of all, Minnesota swept Detroit this season. On Christmas, eliminated them. Now here's where things get fascinating. Flores pulled this off without stars like Jonathan Greenwood or Josh Metellus. He did it with guys like Andrew Van Ginkel putting on an absolute show. 2 fumble recoveries, 2 QB hits, 1.5 sacks, a tackle for loss. And then there's Harrison Smith. The veteran turned back the clock, making plays all over the field with an interception, a sack, and presence in nearly every passing lane. But that leaves us with the looming cloud over all of this joy. What happens next? Because let's face it, if you're another NFL team watching this defense, you're thinking one thing: we need to interview Brian Flores. Whether it's the Giants, the Titans, or any franchise in need of a culture-shifting leader, Flores has suddenly vaulted near the top of the offseason coaching hot board. He doesn't just make defenses better, he makes them matter. He gets production from unknowns. He maximizes talent. And he does it with a creativity that confuses even the most experienced quarterbacks. There's a real possibility that Minnesota just witnessed Brian Flores' final defensive masterclass in purple. And if that's the case, fans, how do we feel about that? Meanwhile, on the offensive side, things couldn't be more different. Let's call it what it was: unwatchable. Kevin O'Connell's offense was stagnant, confused, and borderline dysfunctional. Outside of a late 74-yard run by Jordan Addison, the unit did next to nothing. 9 completions for 51 yards? That's not just inefficient, it's historically poor. And yet the Vikings still won. That's how dominant the defense was. O'Connell, to his credit, has been considered a strong young offensive mind. But games like this raise serious questions. Is he adaptable? Because when the offensive line isn't pristine and the quarterback isn't elite, his scheme sputters. There's no quick game. No adjustments. Just long developing routes that require time his line can't give and precision his quarterback can't provide. It's like watching a pitcher who can throw 104 miles per hour but has no off-speed pitch. It looks great until it doesn't work. That's what's eating at fans right now. In the biggest moments, when the offense needs to adjust, it doesn't. It's stubborn. It's static. And in contrast, Flores is over there on defense, turning every drive into chaos for the opponent. So the question begins to grow louder. If you had to choose just one to keep, would you rather lose Flores or O'Connell? Let that sink in. Let's take a pause here. Before we dive into how this dynamic could reshape the offseason, what do you think? Who would you keep if only one could stay, Flores or Kevin O'Connell? Let me know in the comments below. Now let's turn up the heat, because this dilemma isn't just theoretical anymore, it's becoming reality. Brian Flores is going to get phone calls. Interviews are coming. And unless the Wolves are prepared to open up the vault or offer an unorthodox front office position, he's gone. So what do you do if you're Minnesota? That's the gut punch here. You've just watched your team claw to 8-8 after a season many have called a disaster. Your quarterback situation is in shambles. You've got young talent like Addison and a generational WR in Jefferson, but the offense can't function without ideal conditions. Meanwhile, the defense is carrying the team on its back, week after week, keeping games close, generating turnovers, providing momentum. Flores is making it work with late-round picks and veteran role players, and somehow, he's making it look easy. Let's talk brass tacks. In 2 games against Detroit, one of the most dynamic offenses in football, Flores' defense allowed a combined 29 points and just over 500 total yards. That's across 2 games. For context, the Lions average nearly 400 yards per game. Jahmyr Gibbs? A non-factor. Just 41 yards on 17 carries this week, 2.4 yards per carry. In both matchups this year, Gibbs didn't even crack 100 rushing yards total. That is domination by design. This isn't just a good game plan. This is elite film study, elite scouting, elite teaching. Guys like Eric Wilson, often overlooked, are playing inspired football. Everybody on this defense knows their job. They execute it. And when they don't, Flores adjusts. Quickly. He's not reactive, he's proactive. That's what separates good coordinators from great ones. Now let's zoom out. Because there's a ripple effect to every game, every performance. By beating the Lions, the Vikings just changed their strength of schedule for next season. Instead of a 4th-place finish, they're looking at 3rd. That means facing teams like the Cardinals instead of the 49ers, or the Commanders instead of the Giants. It's subtle, but it matters. Especially if this team is entering a rebuild or retool. And that brings us to the quarterback problem. Max Brown is not the answer. You saw it. I saw it. The Vikings staff knows it. When you win a game by 2 scores and your QB throws for just 51 yards, something is broken. But here's the catch. This isn't just about who's under center. It's about who's calling the plays. Kevin O'Connell's offense, as explosive as it can be with the right personnel, seems entirely dependent on everything being perfect. And in the NFL, it's rarely perfect. Injuries happen. Pressure happens. Adjustments are necessary. And right now, O'Connell isn't making them. His offensive design is stuck in first gear unless the protection holds and the QB can make precision throws. Look across the league, Shanahan, LaFleur, McVay. They adapt. They build game plans around who they have, not who they wish they had. Meanwhile, O'Connell keeps calling deep dropbacks and long developing routes with an O-line missing starters and a QB who isn't processing quickly. It's frustrating. And it's becoming a pattern. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Kevin O'Connell may be a brilliant offensive coach, but if he can't evolve, he'll always be a step behind the elite. You can't win consistently in this league waiting for perfect conditions. You have to manufacture points. Scheme open looks. Play to your roster's strengths. And right now, that's not happening. So where does that leave us? In the most Vikings scenario possible, a season filled with chaos, quarterback drama, offensive collapse, yet we're 8-8. Still alive. Still fighting. And now forced to choose between 2 coaches who represent very different paths forward. Do you double down on O'Connell and hope he finds his stride with a new QB? Or do you consider the unthinkable, promoting Flores and letting him rebuild this team from a defensive foundation? Vikings fans, the offseason has just begun, but the questions are already here. And they're not going away. If you made it this far, you're the real MVP. Drop a like on this video, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave a comment below, Flores or O'Connell? Who do you trust more to lead the Vikings into the next era? Let's hear it, SKOL Nation!